Hey guys, Drew Games here again. This is going to be what if Luffy was a Lunarian, or half Lunarian. So, now, this one basically, well, this part 2. Last time we left off, Luffy was at Drum Island, and they spent pretty sure it was a few weeks they were doctoring, and we had Zoro, Chopper, Johnny, Yosuke, Kuina, Usopp, Nami, and Sanji as these current Straw Hats. Luffy's goal, by the way, is not to, It's not to become Pirate King. It's like a side hustle or side goal. But his all-time goal, well, kind of just free the people in Wano. He heard about it from Kosoburo, and now wants to free them. But now I'm gonna go to just when they're leaving Drum Island. As they leave Drum Island, the next spot that they're gonna head to would be the next place they're gonna head to would be Alabasta. Now, Mr. 9, Miss Monday, Mr. 8 being Igaram, they're just chilling on Whiskey Peak, and they did tell Luffy the whole story and everything. So just to tell you that. Sorry about that. To my phone a bit. I'll put my phone in. But yeah. So, I guess I don't know what the next episode would be, but yeah. So Luffy is on his way to Alabasta with his crew, and then they're met by Nico Robin. But Luffy is not really scared of her, and it's going to scare Crocodile when she says this Crocodile's a new opponent that Luffy cannot defeat because he's so young and inexperienced. In response, Zoro just laughs, saying, "If Crocodile even manages to scratch Luffy, Crocodile may be the strongest man alive." Robin's amazed as Zoro walks up to Luffy, slashing his back, and Robin thinks she killed him, but there's not even a slightest bit as a scratch. Robin's actually amazed with this, and would kind of question it, but yeah. Now Robin leaves him alone after a bit, and they head over to Alabasta. As we get there, Luffy just proceeds to chill out, and he went on meet Ace here because, well, doesn't need to. So Luffy 17, that'd make Zoro 16, Johnny Yosuke 20, and 21. Luffy 17, Johnny Yosuke 20 and 21. Zoro would be 16. Kuina would be around Luffy's age, probably like a year older. Let me fact check this. So she's around Luffy's age. She's like Luffy's age. Yeah, so Nami would be 2 years younger than Luffy, so she'd be 15. And then we have Sanji, who'd be 16 as well. Kobe's on the crew as well, but he's kind of in the middle of recovery, alongside Chopper, who's not in the middle of recovery, but is just on the crew. Kobe would be, I believe, two. He'd be like 3 years younger than Luffy. No. He'd be 4. So, Luffy's 17, Kobe's 13, and Chopper would be 5 years younger than Luffy, so he'd be 12. But Chopper's youngest, being 12 years old. Then Luffy is just kind of chilling out on, he's just chilling until he gets to, till he just wanders around Alabasta. I'm going to go over what Ace and Sabo are up to. Sabo kind of proceeds to be a revolutionary, and then, well, Sabo just chills as a revolutionary. Nothing important happens there. Like, yes, he meets Dragon and everything. Dragon does train him, but Sabo's already insanely physically strong and fast. They had to be to at least damage Luffy. But it never worked, so no matter what, it wouldn't matter. And then we go to Ace, who's on Whitebeard's crew. When he had to fight Jinbei, he also did fight like the rest of Whitebeard crew. And it wasn't really pretty. Because, well, Jinbei, Ace is already physically dominating even compared to a fishman. And is able to immediately dominate Jinbei in the middle of the fight, even using Marimari no Mi. He already knew how to use a Marimari no Mi. Not how to use the Marimari no Mi. Because he's seen how Luffy uses his fire. And, well, Luffy invented the Fire Fist, and then Ace perfects it. So yeah, when Ace does that, well, he does it to Jinbei first, and with his perfection on it, well, it just proceeds to immediately damage him. So with that, Jinbei kind of has to submit after the first Fire Fist because it did too much damage. When Whitebeard and his crew came, they usually see that Jinbei is actually bandaged up because Ace, yes, he beat Jinbei, but Ace is a nice guy. Jinbei's being healed. And Jinbei had actually pointed out, yeah, he's not a bad guy, it's just he wants to fight Whitebeard. So with that, Whitebeard does offer Ace a fight. When him and Ace fight, well, Ace is putting up an excellent fight. Well, first he has to fight Marco, and his flames are comparing to Marco's, at least in firepower, but Marco heals a lot faster and is able to beat Ace. What's the next stop? We go to the next thing. That would be Luffy on everyone else. So he doesn't encounter millions of billions and proceeds to just beat them down using his gigantic sword or wide katana. He's able to cut them down pretty easily. And like by easily I mean like he's like treating them like butter. And then everyone else, well, it works out because millions of billions. They were notified by Nico Robin because Nico Robin had faith in Luffy. So they all immediately are able to take down millions and billions, and they're notified of what they look like, the tattoos and everything. So it works by taking them down. And it doesn't take too long, so yeah. Now we go over to, I guess the main fight, or the main problem would be Crocodile. Because millions and billions are being taken down. And we have, who was it? Yeah, the numbers. So make sure you get all of them right. So, now, numbers. Chopper and Usopp still do fight Mr. 4 and Mr. Merry Christmas. But Chopper, he had a little bit of training from Luffy. And, well, he had to put up with trying to at least beat Luffy, or at least somewhat injure him. So it didn't really work. And didn't really work out too well either way, but yeah, so Chopper, with a little bit of better physical strength, he's able to completely obliterate Mr. Merry Christmas, being a lot faster as well. And then we have Usopp versus Mr. 4. Usopp just runs up and continues to fight him while Johnny Yosuke, well, they're handling a different problem. Zoro and Queen are busy taking down numbers inside just random, not numbers, taking down millions and billions inside different like the guards, the revolutionaries that are just, not like the whole revolutionaries, but just like the revolution against the other ones. But yeah. So Zoro and Queen are kind of ignoring Mr. 1 while Johnny Yosuke fight him, and they're able to take him down. Just Johnny Yosuke, as a duo, they're able to compare to at least Alabasta Zoro, or slightly above him. And I'd go with the slightly above him route, because with Mr. 1, they suffered very, very minimal injuries. And it worked. And then we have Nami versus Miss Doublefinger. She's able to take down Miss Doublefinger pretty well, plus she has her climb attack, and she's able to use it. So, it works. And with her using her climb attack, she does really good. So, I'd say the only bad part about it being, I guess she's young compared to Soulfinger, and isn't really good at it. So, well, she's not really good with good at fighting at all. So, it doesn't really work out too well for her. Nami, she's not good. Like that's what I'm talking about. She's not good at fighting. Soulfinger is, but she's a master at her climb attack, so it works out. And then Mr. 3, because they didn't fight on Little Garden, he's going to fight Luffy. And when he tries to wax Luffy in place, well, Luffy just his body temperature is just naturally insanely hot, so the axe begins melting. So as the wax melts, Miss Goldwing just tried to paint on Luffy, but he's able to turn around and threaten to cut her head off if she doesn't leave him alone. And Luffy puts it up to her neck, even drawing a little bit of blood, and she runs off. Mr. 1, he slashes him across the chest, not killing him, but he's down. Mr. Mr. 3. And Mr. 2 versus Sanji. So, what happens? Sanji beats the living hell out of Mr. 2. It's not even funny. Sanji's a lot faster because everyone trains with Luffy by trying to beat him or scratch him or something. They all got a lot faster and stronger. And, well, Sanji got the big speed advantage. He's able to basically dash right at Mr. 2 before he turns into a woman, and kicks him right in the temple full force, knocking him out. But now Luffy versus Crocodile. So, Pell assuming hell the stars are raising, even killing some Baroque Works members, and millions and billions. Like, due to Luffy being Luffy, he's not really full on, like, against killing. He knows it's necessary at times, because, well, Luffy has different nature due to being a Lunarian, or half Lunarian at least. So, when Luffy fights Crocodile, Pell sees the hell they're raising. Well, not everyone, but he sees that the hell stars are raising, so he ends up grabbing Luffy and volunteering to bring him Crocodile a lot faster. Luffy agrees to this, and Pell brings Luffy to Crocodile. When we get to him, well, Crocodile just flings a gigantic, gigantic slashing wave of sand, I guess. It sends one towards Luffy and Pell. When it responds, Luffy pulls out his katana and covers it in flames, and then slashes down as the flames then meet with the sand, and they kind of shoot each other away. And Crocodile's a little confused because Luffy doesn't have a fire devil that's Ace. I was wondering, what the hell does Luffy have? Like, what power does he have? Luffy just jumps off Pell, shooting flames from his feet, and shoots himself right towards Crocodile, cutting his sword in flames still, and coating his whole body in flames. If I was wondering about his clothes, they're fireproof. They're specifically made to be fire resistant. Straw, on the other hand, he kind of just told Pell hold on to it for him, and Pell agreed. So yeah, Straw, on the other hand, is not fireproof, so he can't wear it while he's using his powers. He gives it to someone else, at least someone he trusts. So he begins fighting Crocodile, and Crocodile has to admit Luffy's flames. If he gets them hot enough, he will probably turn to glass, or his attacks will be rendered useless. Like his body won't turn to glass, but his attacks can be turned to glass, or any attack, like if he turns part of his body to sand, it'll just turn to glass. So, yeah. Now, what Luffy does is he just keeps attacking Crocodile, until eventually he stabs his katana through his chest. Doesn't kill him, of course, he's Crocodile, and he's made of sand, or can kind of turn his body into sand. What Luffy does immediately is shoot flames throughout every centimeter of his body, and Crocodile's body kind of just dispersed and shot everywhere, and it's taking forever to recover because Luffy just heated up his flames to max power, and it could have turned into glass. So yeah, that ended, and pause real quick. So Luffy eventually is able to kind of take down Crocodile temporarily. That's enough for Cobra, who's actually not kind of on the loose right now. They weren't at Alabasta Castle, if I wasn't inferring that. They're kind of just in the distance, and Pell knew where Crocodile and his base was at. But yeah, the numbers were actually just inside of Alabasta. They kind of just destroying everything from the inside. Now, eventually, Luffy does end up just not Luffy. Cobra ends up getting some guards to see some cuffs on Crocodile and call them Marines. After this, well, those routes end up having the whole 3 day, few days just hanging out with Vivi, Igaram, everyone else. Then they weren't as close with Vivi, but Nami and Vivi got along pretty damn well. And Luffy just proceeded to just relax. So, yeah. But now we go to when they're leaving. As they're leaving, Mr. 2 decided to leave because, well, they're realizing that with Crocodile, he'll encounter random pirates who are strong as the Straw Hats, who easily will wipe them out, and will somehow... Well, Sanji. He knocked out Mr. 2 in one single blow. So Mr. 2 just kind of, and felt bad that he's so weak because of Baroque Works. And he's not completely wrong, but also not right. So, now, Mr. 2 does help him get away from the Marines, but Luffy doesn't abandon him. He tells the Straws he'll hang around here with Mr. 2, and the other ones can escape on their own. He'll catch up in a bit. Now Robin does have her alligator and to stay behind with them. So Luffy, Mr. 2, and Mr. 3 happen to be nearby trying to escape, and it works out for everyone. So now, as they're all just hanging out, just fighting off the Marines, Luffy's doing most of it by slashing down some Marines, but he's not killing any of them, because they're doing their job, really. That's really it. Yes, pirates do their job too, but they're harming a country. So Luffy doesn't really care who he kills. So they proceed to cut down just anyone. Like, they don't kill them. Luffy says, like, if you guys kill anyone, I will kill you. They're doing their jobs under orders. All you guys had a choice to be pirates or not. So yeah, like, you had a choice to do good to others and harm like you guys have a choice to do good in your eyes but harm the innocent. While the Marines, they kind of do the complete opposite. So yeah, so eventually the Marines are killed, but they're all slashed down. And Hina was still the Marine on this order, but Smoker was with her. Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina. A Smoker, and like all three of them heard the order. Do not kill any of them. They're doing their jobs. And you don't need to end their lives for that. Luffy's walking off. Smoker would wobble up, grabbing Luffy, asking is he pitying them? Is that why they're not being killed? And Luffy explains his whole thing. Like, he's not a pirate. He wants to go somewhere, but the only way to get in is most likely being a pirate, or just kind of doing pirating deeds. He'll never do anything a regular pirate does, but fighting Marines will come at the cost. Smoker nods, saying, "All right then. Well, now that I know, I'll be sure to help you any way I can, because he's a good guy." Luffy chuckles, and Smoker's a little more easy because he's not been in the Marines as long, and I assume he may have been a little more hardened because he protected a whole thing of, like, the whole town of the whole island of Logtown. So he may have hardened up a bit, but I assume Smoker kind of just is a little more softer because he doesn't have to protect the whole island, but just kind of travel around with his friends. Now, Hina had heard what Smoker said and does agree with Smoker and Tashigi as well. She agrees with Smoker because Luffy, he wants to do something, but the only way to do it, pirating deeds. Not pirating DVDs, but he has to be a pirate. That's really it. Or act as one. So now we go over to just them, like, Luffy's able to, like, usually fling out his feet and fly over to the Strats. Everyone gets wondering about Luffy's actual strat. Pell was able to fly over the Strats before they got too far away and give them Luffy's strat. And Mr. 2 and his crew, plus Mr. 3, they all got away. It's Golden Week. Mr. 2 and Mr. 3 would not have taken her if she wasn't a child. Mr. 3 snuck on board, that's why he's allowed to stay. He was fighting for survival in his own way. Miss Golden Week was just a child, so she had no other choice. And so eventually Luffy flies over to them, and when he lands, they proceed to just relax. So he gets his strat back, and the next arc, Jaya/Skypia. They find the gigantic Straw Hat still, and find the gigantic turtle, and they also able to meet Mashira, and they still see the gigantic shadows, and it terrifies the hell out of Luffy. In response, he throws a gigantic fireball right through it, and else sees the gigantic fireball come from below. It's like, what the living hell? What the fuck was that? That's a gigantic fireball. That's never happened before. What the hell's happening now? You're just a little confused. Pause real quick. Okay, so Luffy leaving the Strats, they bring Mashira over to Cricket, and Cricket can't really not Cricket. I mean, Mashira does try to fight Shoujo, not Shoujo. I mean, tries to fight Luffy, but just ends up hurting his hands the whole time. Doesn't work at all. So he kind of just tires out, gives up. Sandy cooks him a meal, and he gets a bath from Chopper because Chopper's the only one that wants to look at a gigantic monkey man. So yeah. Now, as being Cricket, him, Mashira, and Shoujo getting along normally. They hear about Skypia, and everything goes per normal. But the only thing missing is Bellamy and Blackbeard, because Blackbeard did not leave the crew yet. And by the way, if everyone wondering about Ace, he did lose to Marco, because Marco had a healing factor, and when he did try to fight Whitebeard, Whitebeard has hockey. It doesn't really work out too well. But Whitebeard did have to acknowledge Ace was basically, something different. Instead of getting title Fire Fist Ace, Jinbei, he's already a warlord, and he does actually say he'll give Ace a big reputation, but will not snitch on what crew he's with now. So, Ace respects that, and Jinbei reports about how he fought Ace, and dubs Ace the King of the Flames, or King of the Flames. So what they call Ace is Fire Emperor Ace. So King does get the word of Ace's power, And it's like, oh, that bastard, he's doing double mocking my race. So now he's gunning for Ace personally. Not Queen is not helping him. Not Whitebeard. Queen's not helping him. Kaido's not helping him. No one else is. It's him gunning for Ace because Ace is like he's the Emperor of the Flames. Ace is developing an ultimate technique because of how well he already knows how to use flames and how Luffy described his control over it. Ace had to do a little bit more control though, but Ace already knowing how to use a lot of it. And what he does, this what the technique would be: the Luffy summoning Ace summoning blue flames, and then some of them gigantic circles to do area damage as they shoot out. And he calls this the Emperor's Wave. It's a Conqueror's hockey joke. That's really it. I had to think of a way to incorporate it normally, but I found the way to do it. But some of the struts end up just kind of chilling out. They just out of the bar, and Luffy does call the pie. He says it's shit. Well, the beer's pretty good. But eventually, they still make their way to Skypiea. Just no problems whatsoever. And yeah. Pause real quick. So they make their way to Skypiea, and they do help Cricket find gold, but Luffy's the main one doing it. The main reason he's the one doing it is just because he's Lunarian can survive basically any environment. Yes, underwater they could drown, but Luffy's the one that can just endure the most pressure underwater, and is the one that can move the fastest. He's basically a fisherman without being part fish. But yeah. Now, Luffy just proceeds to gather as much gold as possible, swimming around the whole area, and is able to spend underwater for at least 2 hours. And by the time he brings up all the gold, he comes out, and everyone's just shocked, because Sanji and Zoro could barely last 30 minutes. So, yeah, by the time Luffy comes out, he has well over 2 billion berries worth of gold. Now, with that, Luffy just ends up just paying their way to Skypiea using the gold, and eventually they're able to kind of get their whole thing. I don't know. I can only figure out a way to make this work. Luffy ends up talking to the woman at Skypiea, the one at the gate, and she does say this gold belongs to Skypiea. It was just lost for a really long time. Luffy offers up all the gold, and she agrees to that. And now instead of them being at the military a few hours later, they're met with open arms. Everyone welcomes them. And I was curious to why, but it doesn't really pay any mind to it because there's random visitors that don't know who he is. So now, as they're on Skypiea, they meet Konis and Paguya, and they get along really well. And they do hear about Enel, but it's not anything bad. But Luffy's able to kind of do the subtle he's a bad guy, right? And Konis and Paguya do agree, but Enel didn't hear it, so they say they wrote it down on paper. Because they seem really nervous to trash talk him whatsoever. But now, when Luffy does hear he's a bad guy, and what he does just through Konis writing it down, Luffy is now very interested in he's only interested in just destroying. She says that Enel's basically only interested in destroying them and messed up. He's a very messed up individual. But Luffy gets that, and now Luffy just proceeds to leave, asking where Enel is before he heads out, and she tells him where he is. With that, Luffy is gathering troops as much as possible, because Konis did tell Luffy about Wiper and his gang. So, as soon as he gets told about the group, well, he finds them out, and then they end up going all over to, They go over to where Enel's, where Verth is. And then they make their way in, killing every single one of the priests, and destroying them. So they destroy basically every single priest as much as possible. So by the time they're done, just Luffy had slaughtered a few of them, Wiper and his group killed a few of them, the Strats are destroying them all. And it doesn't really matter. So yeah. Pause real quick. So, Strats plus Wiper's group proceed to wipe out all of Enel's priests. And Luffy's able to find some way to actually, if he sees lightning coming down, or is able to be somewhat aware of it, well, his flames are able to just push all of it back. So he uses his flames to just at least contrast with Enel's lightning. doesn't really work out too well, but Enel doesn't know who to target because Luffy somehow summons fire. But now the next important thing would probably just be them fighting Enel or Luffy. The all strats plus Wiper group try to fight Enel, and they end up losing. They're the ones with a little stamina left. Zoro and Johnny Yosuke and Kobe. Kobe did fully heal, if I mentioned that. Kobe, Johnny Yosuke, they're the ones with like most stamina left, and Kobe is a little more buff now. But they still have to add their ass handed to them. Zoro and Kuina had stamina besides Luffy and Wiper. But they still got wiped out. Leaving Luffy and Wiper. Wiper also had enough stamina, and Luffy was just tired. So as Luffy and everyone else just proceeds, Luffy and Wiper proceed to fight Enel. Well, Luffy draws the fire, but Enel's lightning, and Wiper takes the shots. Eventually, Luffy does realize that. Okay, so Luffy is able to find out this fire is at least doing some damage to Enel, and eventually Enel does go into like full gigantic electric Buddha lightning god deity thing. And he begins fat blasting at Wiper, and Wiper's taking it out in the next few seconds, but Luffy's able to negate all the damage to his body by just kind of standing in front of Wiper. And he's able to kind of just take it. So, eventually, as Luffy just proceeds to cover his body in fire, protecting Wiper, Enel does get tired out, as Luffy is able to basically not be damaged whatsoever. Like, he gets a few, like minimal scrapes and slight scratches and everything, and he doesn't really get burned, because he's kind of made of fire. And I assume King, even without Haki, would fucking obliterate Enel. So, yeah. No one's really getting hurt here, besides Enel. Because Luffy's flames do some damage. Because they're kind of just a natural element that naturally occurs. And it's not a solid object, so Enel's just being fucked. So with that, Luffy just proceeds to use just one more final blast of fire. And what it does, he throws it right at Enel's head. And it takes out Enel. But Luffy makes one last attempt, pulling up his sword, or white katana covering in flames, and stabs Enel with it. But makes the whole typical sword made out of flames, and stabs Enel with that, and proceeds to kind of gut him, ensuring he's dead. And it works. And eventually, Wiper's able to wake everyone up, and they proceed to take somewhat of a rest in the Golden City, to the point where Gon falls and more villagers come, seeing Enel's crew dead. Well, they know they're dead because they're just put in, and just buried all around. But the shots are okay. Luffy has a few scratches and everything, but not much more. Well, Luffy just relaxes. But yeah, so everyone else is just chilling out. And Strass, first they still upon the lift, they did get it. Robin helped them with the one in Alabasta and the one in Skypiea. It worked out. Everything worked out perfectly, and the next stop being, I need to find it. So, while they're just chilling out, they're the pony lift. They get some gold, and they get around, let's say, 5 billion berries worth of it. Luffy eventually is able to just leave the Straws, and next stop, Water 7. So, as we've been going to Water 7, nothing really interesting happens on the way there. The marine base that they would land at on, I guess in the filler. Luffy's able to just legit shoot flames out everywhere and burn it down. Burn the whole island down at that. And that's really it. So, now we have Luffy, who goes over to some of the Straw Hats. The ship still does need to be repaired, or if he thinks it can be repaired, till it really has to be destroyed, because it can't really go one more island, which does make Luffy somewhat upset. So yeah, and Usopp's also a little upset, but Luffy has to explain to him in a way that the ship took one hell of a beating. The ship couldn't, even if it could tell at least one more island where they need to go next, the ship will sink before they're even halfway there. So either they die at sea. Well, not all of them, but probably just Chopper, Robin. Yeah, just those two. They'd probably die at sea, while everyone else would just be stranded in the ocean, probably going to eat someone. Sanji just saw saying if it comes down to it, if someone tries to eat Nami, he'll kill them. Luffy explains that he's gonna eat Sanji first. But yeah. Now when they start kind of like talking to everyone on like the Guy Law, they get along pretty well. Luffy and Kaku especially get along because they're both kind of just weird. But eventually, Zoro and Quina, they have nothing else to do, so they begin getting along a lot more. And Zoro brings up he did like Quina for before the time, completely lying, saying he doesn't like her now. No, not like I don't like you at the time, but like, we're pretty good friends now, but before I like you more than that. And Quina says now she does like currently she likes Zoro as more than a friend. Well, that Zoro and Quina just hooked up off the bat from that, so yeah. But now they have their billions of berries and gold. Luffy just proceeds to just chill out till they're able to get a new ship. And Luffy is able to convince Usopp to like, oh yeah, we do need a new ship. You can't just fight me off and not wanting a new ship. So yeah, so even if Usopp did want to fight, he'd lose in seconds. So that's the next important thing. Well, is Robin being kidnapped, and they do know where they're going, and Frankie is also the one kidnapped. So as they're leaving, going over to Annie's lobby. So they had Annie's lobby because something was important would happen. They don't get that gigantic typhoon or anything. So their ship is torn down, but they scrap it for parts and money. So now, when they get to Annie's lobby, Sea Train, Luffy insists that they let it get to Annie's lobby to make them think they weren't coming, but then come in the middle of the trial. So Luffy's the one that can get there first. So as soon as like he's able to get to Annie's lobby first using his flames, well, it works out pretty easily. Not easily, but he's able to get there faster than the ship because they're taking the old Sea Train. But they get there, and when they get to when you get to the Sea Train, Annie's lobby, Luffy just proceeds to just kill everyone there because like they start attacking first, so he just proceeds to kill them. And with that, it's pretty easy. So, yeah. He's just slashing down everyone, just kind of his thing as he's at Annie's lobby. Doesn't come to the two giants, talks to them about like about Dory and Bragi, and they proceed to help them. Tell them to like the next few minutes till the Strats arrive. How about the time they all arrive on the Sea Train? Well, they're cool. Now, Strats were shocked about Luffy and the two giants were able to accomplish in a matter of a few minutes, but it was pretty easy, so to say. Now, after around an hour, well, they're able to get to Annie's lobby, meeting all of the members of Galley Law, and I guess all members of, well, not Galley Law, just Kaku, Lucci, and Khalifa. They're going to meet them, but only bad thing being just the other members of CP9 that they know nothing about. So then the fight starts with people fighting everyone they usually do. It's just, well, Luffy is able to get Frankie away, saying that Frankie should take the Frankie family and take down every single member of the Marines that get back up. Well, then him and his group will continue taking down the CP9. So this leads to Kobe, Johnny, and Yosuke taking down Fukuro, and Johnny and Yosuke could have done it themselves, or at least one of them could have done it themselves. But Kobe, wanting to test out his new martial arts skills, able to do it as well. Then we have Robin takes down Spandam. Zoro and Quina fight Kaku, and Zoro easily is able to take down Kaku with a single slash until he just begins trying to use his four sword style, which is his legs counting his swords. And well, we have Quina able to negate that. And Sanji still has to fight someone, that being Jabra. And he already has Diablo Jambe, so he's able to kick the crap out of Jabra in an instant. But now Luffy versus Lucci. As the fight begins, Lucci would rush at Luffy. Luffy could immediately shoot out flames from his hands and feet, coating the whole room in it, until Lucci is almost dead from being burned alive. With that, Luffy just suddenly lands on his feet again, because he's running in the air for a bit, and ended the fight that fast. Lucci could not have negated it, so, yeah. Luffy just covered the whole room in flames and burned Lucci till he was almost dead. The fight wouldn't really be interesting. So now eventually, once that's ended, I guess they kind of just leave. The Giants talk to Usopp for a bit first, and then now they leave. Head back to Ennis. Not Ennis. Head back to Water 7. They get the Sunny built for them. And now the next stop being the next stop is the next thing being Frankie joining the crew. You're going to join the same way as he does in canon. So you guys are wondering about the Frankie family? You guys wondering about the Frankie family? The Frankie family. Usopp is actually able to beat up the guy that tried to rob him in canon pretty easily at that, so, yeah. Pause real quick. So Frankie joins the crew the same way he does in canon. Frankie family also encourages him to go. But Luffy has a lot of extra time on his hands, so they're able to actually have the Sunny built the way they want it, and a little bit bigger, because, like I said, they scrapped the parts for the Mary, and some of those parts were spared. So as their ship is just built a little bit bigger, and the same way they like it, well, everyone's like, they're able to sail under the Florian Triangle, perfectly aware, I guess. And almost every part of the ship is fireproof, and, well, Frankie, Nami, and everyone else was able to help Luffy, eventually keep the Straw Hat looking normal, but also make it fireproof, because he likes to fight with it on as a good luck charm. So, yeah, flames will not harm the hat anymore. So now we get over to the, what was it? The Florian Triangle. They meet Brook. They still end up becoming, Brook still comes to crewmate. Brook still in a shadow. The flip of bark happens. It kind of just happens per normal. It's just Nami and Kuina, Kobe, and Robin were one group. Basically, almost every single female on the crew was in a group. But they're all kind of beginning to, use observation hockey. And as we begin to use observation hockey, it doesn't work out. Well, it does work out some way, but I forgot to mention this before. Luffy's kind of tapping into observation, but yeah, with them also being able to tap into it in some form. Kuina and Zoro being the only ones to do it. Well, Kuina is able to somewhat feel the presence. She's able to somewhat feel the presence of I said Yasop earlier, I'm sorry, but I meant Usopp. But yeah, so Queen's able to feel the presence of Absalom and, not Yasop. Absalom does die. Because Queen is able to sense his presence, and when he does try to escape, Queen does slash him right across the back, and then almost stabs him in the chest. But yeah, he almost dies. And then Dr. Hogback was able to see Absalom's dead body, and then Absalom's dead body. And then Brook also told him the weakness of the shadows. Well, not shadows. Well, kind of shadows plus zombies. They just got Dr. Hogback's Cindy, or whatever her name was, zombie. And then they beat Dr. Hogback to just... They almost kill him. Then we have the other members of the... So, Luffy and the other Shrats, they proceed to go somewhere else, and that somewhere else just being towards spread around Thriller Bark. The Shrats can continue to... Because they did to burn it down. So it was like everywhere he's going, he just spreads flames all across it. Then the other Shrats used to do the same thing. Copper isn't really all for it, because he does see animals until he realizes they're zombies and they're already dead. They're just being controlled. And they do meet Lola's group as they're trying to set fire to it. Luffy does meet Moria. Well, first he comes across the house, and then the shadows can't go take over his body because he cannot be beaten. So it just leaves him versus Moria and Oars. Because Moria can't take Luffy's shadow because he can't beat him. So he has to inherit his shadow inherit Oars, and then they fight. So yeah. That fight's a little more entertaining because Luffy proceeds to use a barrage of fire slashes to take off Oars' limbs. In the last attack, Luffy would yell Fire Fist, slamming it right into Oars' chest, almost burning Moria to death, but Moria isn't dead yet, but he's burned. Then all that's left is Luffy just punching another Fire Fist through it, and with that, Oars has a giant hole in his chest, and he falls over dead. So, yeah. Pause real quick. So, Luffy proceeds to fight Moria, basically destroys it, almost kills him, burns a giant hole through oars. Zoro, Usopp, and everyone else, they fight their normal people. Zoro fights Moria, fights Ryuma, wins pretty easily, with just a single slash, smacking Shusui out of his hand, and cutting his body in half. But Zoro just realized that what Ryuma's wearing is kind of just like the memorabilia of Wano, and this is Ryuma's actual body. Zoro does as she first wrap it in bandages, pick it up, and proceed to take it away, holding Shusui in his mouth. Now Zoro will sit on Ryuma's body, and they had to make room somewhere else not Sanji. Frankie and Usopp were able to make a small freezer to put Ryuma's body in until they get to Wano. Just tons of salt and ice. That may not help with it and whatsoever, but it works. So yeah. Now the rest of the strats. Well, versus Perona, that fight ended pretty fast. Usopp's able to have some of his negative attitude regardless, so he's not affected whatsoever. And Kobe is also a little more negative, so he's able to win with Usopp. And Kobe is able to do the finishing blow by punching Perona right in the face, full force. Sanji didn't see it, luckily, because he's busy fighting off zombies. And eventually all of the crew were able to take all the shadows out of the zombies. All the crew gets their shadows back. And now Brooke's an official member. So I'm in this part here before we get to Sabaody. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment from the other part. Sorry for being so sloppy in this one. It's just I had to keep pausing for long periods of time, so my mind kept wandering. I could have recorded this later, but I have homework to do. Plus, it's like 8 something or 9 something, but yeah, almost 9. But yeah, I'd have to go soon anyway. But bye.